All right, and we're back, baby. All right, cool, Tyler. So the second file you are going to run, I'm gonna just move this over here. It's gonna be after you run this stuff, you got your databases up, all that jazz. Next is gonna be master email notif and grabber. Okay. So remember what I told you before you run this. Any imports you see, I need you to go to terminal on the bottom, pip install, and first one's gonna be Alpha Vantage. This is the one that I use. 'Cause I know you were talking about Oanda earlier. You can probably change it uh, later to a different grabber, or at least a different API. I mean, so I should use the correct words. So already satisfied. Pip install, and you pip install the rest of them. Pip install PyMySQL if you didn't already do it. If you did it already, you should be fine. It's in the same uh, project as this one. And pip install this thing, SMTP lib, all that jazz. Click down here back to run. Cool. So first thing you got to do is this is based off the currency you want. So in the API, when you're requesting from the API, it's Euro USD. Okay. So if you want to change what it's grabbing, here you put in the code, and you know the codes are like JPY. I feel like the other ones like CHD, which is I think the Swiss, that kind of stuff. You put that here, and this is just the USD. Okay, it's like the verse. All right. So before you run this, make sure you change it to the currency you wanna check out. Okay, or you'll pretty much essentially create another file, like I don't know, like a new file, like no file. Call it like master. Oh, call it whatever you want. I'm just gonna call it eng2 master email notif and grabber. Okay, let's do a okay, whatever. Yeah, all right, cool. So I remember you wanted to run multiple one of these, so I'll just copy and paste this. Control A, Control C, Control V, bam. I have another whole file that, oh, and I'll explain how to run more than one of these later. But essentially, you have to create a file in a different project, okay? So you actually wouldn't do it like this. I'm just showing you so you can like, the idea is you would actually, it would be file new project, and in that new, whoa, hello, in that file new project, you create a file, call it this, copy and paste all of this into there, same exact code, but just change this. Okay, so you can't have two of these running at the same time, but you can have another one running at the same time. Okay, it's pretty much the essential idea, but don't worry about that too much. Kind of rambling there. But we'll get to that point later on. Okay, cool. So after you change that, you scroll down here. Make sure you also change it here as well. So you can honestly just copy and paste this whole line. Where is it? This whole line. You can copy and paste this whole line down here if you wanted to. Essentially, I'm not going to change it for this video. Also, you can go to here, copy and paste this line. Control C, Control V, that bad boy right here. Yeah. Boom. Okay. The reason is because it's just it's the connection I'm saying about it. This is that Python connection thing, okay? And then check anywhere else that might need a modifying, but you should be good to go. And then the next thing you have to change to adjust it to your computer is the email part. So where is that right now? One second. All right. So when Chris made this, Chris used how do I say it? He used environmental, what it's called, environmental elements, I think they're called, to run this. Because this is something that he made a different certain way. But I'll have to make a video on how to use this later. Right now, I'm gonna focus mostly on running this for just changing this stuff. And if you run it, most likely you will not get an email because you didn't modify this to your email. But in very simple fix for this is either watch Chris's video on how he made the email notif, or you come here and you type in, what is it? Matter of fact, oh, where is it? You just come here in the top area and do this. Hit enter, get rid of this slash stuff, hit equals, alright. And then, make sure there's string, okay? So you'll come here and do whatever, call it string, and they'll be like, Tenrod2@gmail.com. And the other one will be like, whoops, hello there. And the other one should be like your password, which is I really don't care. Whatever the password is, da 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 da. Right. And once you do that, here, if you have this, then this whole code sequence should use that email username and password, okay? And the message, you can change the message. This message, you can change that right here, okay? Essentially. So you can have it say some other stuff. You can change the subject on the email and then the body of the email. This should email you something so this is pretty much the alert system right here. But I'll have Chris make a video on how the alert works so you can modify it yourself. So yeah. And then for now, keep this at 30. We have to change this later, but this is pretty much how it runs, the basics of it, so you get the idea. So pretty much, essentially, we change this. If you change this, we have the email and password in, unless you make environmental elements. And then everything else should be Gucci to go to change this, make sure the password, the host, and the database are all good, and then insert into test. And then change. Next, you are going to change these. So essentially, when you see how it says trendline data, you will change the name of the databases. So the way SQL runs is this is the table name and this is the column name. Okay, so if you go to SQL, we do show tables, right? And let's do select all from, and this is how you collect data from a table: USD, EUR. Let's do opening price. Okay, so if we did this, all right. So the table name is this. It's the table name, okay? And then the column name that we want you to insert is open price data, okay? So I'm gonna come here and I'm just gonna actually copy and paste this right here. Control C. I'm gonna control that here. So this is the table name right here. All right, cool beans. And then I'm gonna need this name right here. It's called open price data. So it's trying to. Oh, actually, let me not put that there. Let me put that. Where's open price? This one. So I changed that one to use open price, and it should be just open price data. Open price data. Okay. So essentially, you should see. You should. So remember, you copy and paste the table name here, and then copy and paste the column name right here. Okay. So let's do closing price. Do something different. If you hear what it sounds, I'm not sorry. Close price data. Okay, cool beans. So yeah, so you can see just copy paste this thing right here into all of these, and this is gonna be the table name. Yeah, it's just how MySQL query syntax works. So it's table name and then parentheses column name. Okay, so the column name I want for this is close price data. Son of a B. I did that so wrong. My B. Actually, you have to call it this closing. Okay, it's USD closing price. So it's different tables. My bad. So I should make this different. This is closing, and then it's close price data. That's the column name. Close price data. Yeah, close price data. Yeah, you get to see like how we actually do this kind of stuff. Okay, close price data. What other tables are there I have to put in here? Timestamp. Make sure it's the right stuff. Time price, timestamp, time price, timestamp. Timestamp data. No, yeah, I'm just gonna pause this and fast forward. Okay, I'm back. I forgot to tell you. If you want to figure out the column name for a table, go to show tables. Look for the table you're looking for. For this, right now I'm looking at bottom trend line. This is gonna show you this at this point. I just type in select all from, type in the table name, and then query it, and then it shows you like this is like ID. If you see anything with ID in it, ignore that. It auto increments. It does its own thing. Don't stress that out. For now, just worry about this column right here is the bottom trend line data column. Okay, so when I come here, I already did some of them really quick. So it'll be the, what is it called? It's called bottom right trend line data. Yeah. So I just erase that. Okay, and then I just want to copy and paste this table right here. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish it off. I was gonna do like a quick time lapse thing, but no point. I had to make that very clear. And then the last table I need is the fucking top line. USD top line. Top trend line. Okay. This is where you said top trend line, and then the column should essentially be make sure this is right. A lot of copy and pasting. Just make sure everything I write is correct, because there's a lot of errors when you type shit out. You won't notice it's wrong. It's a long word, long name, top trend line data. Cool. Okay, cool. So these are all modified. That was just long because it shouldn't be really that bad. When you're doing it, you'll just probably put in like the second time you do it, probably just change this right here, and everything should be the same essentially. Yeah, because if you check out, if I did euro, I mean, it's not euro, JPY, like in the other video we did. If you check that, it's the same name. Okay, it's the same name as the other one. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, same exact name. Cool. Yeah, it's just you just change this name right here. All right. Cool beans. Uh, and then the last thing you have to worry about is the slopes. Okay, so when you insert the data, when you run this code, you'll see what I mean later. It's gonna ask you for what numbers that you want to essentially create the trend lines. Okay, so when you run this code, it's gonna ask you for the number you want to start the starting point of the trend line. Like, so you're drawing it, the start point of the trend line, and then the end point of the trend line. The end point you don't choose. You only choose the start point of the trend line. Depending on the bottom and the top, it'll let you know which one it is. And then from there, you pick the slope, okay? So this number right here, the 0.001, that's the slope that I chose for my trend lines. If you want to change the slopes, you have to come here and change it. I believe new user is going to be bottom trend line, and new user 2 is going to be the top trend line, okay? So new user, where is it? Whoa, where'd it go? So new user is bottom trend line slope. Well, the plus, this is the slope, and then new user 2 is the top trend line. Where is it? This says bottom trend lines for new user, top trend lines for new user 2. Probably I can change that later on for the code to make it a lot easier for you. But yeah, for now I just left it like that. I'll probably clean it up later. Okay, so if you want to change the slope, this is where you change it. Okay, this is where you change the slope. Okay, and then I have a different thing that you'll use to pick your slope. But for now, I'm showing you how this works before, so you know it's going down. Okay, cool. So when I run this code, that should be good to go. And remember I told you it was not gonna, this will not actually email me because I didn't set it to email me because I don't want spam emails. All right, cool. So it asks you for the trend line. I'm gonna start it at like 1.0805, whatever the market is. And then when you do this, you most likely would like to check the actual market on a lambda to see where you want to have your start point. And this is start point you're going to choose, okay? And after that, hit enter, and it's going to ask for the top trend line, the start point, okay? And I'm going to just cancel this because I don't want to run this actually. I don't want to ruin what I was doing earlier. Once you run this, you hit enter twice again, it should like insert that shit, right? And after you do that, it will actually continue to insert. Actually, never mind. I'm gonna run and show you what I'm talking about. Actually, I just won't get emails. Let me do 1.080. Oh, what's the bottom trend line? I'll do like 6. Actually, like 705. Yeah, something like that. And then from top trend line, 1.08. I only know these numbers because I looked at it earlier. Something like that. Hit enter. Uh, Ignore this. Yeah, ignore these two errors. It's just a warning. It's not an actual error. It's whatever. If you get insert successful, then you're Gucci to go. Okay. And essentially, whoa, I forgot. This is a different database, but it's all good. So what happens is, if you check your database, which one is this attached to? I think it's Euro. Look right there. There's fucking data. Cool. It said the ID. it auto increments. It does its own thing. Don't worry about that too much. I already set it for you when you made the SQL stuff. But here, essentially, as you can see, insert the data that I asked. This is the top trend line, okay? And then you can have a bunch of these from USD war. Ooh, I cannot type to save. Jesus, bro. Good thing you're atheist. I'm joking. Okay. Oh, yeah, see right there. And that's the closing price. This is the closing price that they got from the API. Okay. Not that. Something I inserted. Okay. So essentially, you can come here and do like select all for each one of them. Let me just pause and do that for you real quick. Alright, cool, I'm back. So I made all these. So select all from top trend line, bottom trend line, closing trend line, open trend line, timestamp, all that jazz. And also, if you want to just make another one for JPY, use copy and paste it, and just change these to JPY. Essentially, is the idea. Okay, yeah. But I'm just getting for the euro, so I'm gonna run this one. Bam. Oh wow. And oh, for the trend line, I didn't have it actually slope. Should it have a slope? No, it didn't actually slope, but that's because I left it that way. If you want it to slope, I'll show you later how to make it slope. But essentially, this is how this works. Oh yeah, I'll show you in the next video how all that slope and stuff like that work. But now I'm just showing you the basics of how it works. Okay, closing price changed a little bit over the past couple minutes. Closing price. Oh, is this 4 as well? Oh yeah, you just getting 4. Okay, yeah. Oh. Yeah, and then timestamp gives you the timestamps at what this happened at. As you can see, these are timestamps to collect data and log the data for you. Okay, and essentially, that's how it works. And if you check here, when you run the code, it actually tells you, it gives you that first line of thing. So when you run it, each time it lets you know, when you first run it, if you want to check the data without having to go to Oanda, you just go to the right, the farthest right here, and this is the closing price. This is the, where is it? Opening price right here. Opening price, and this is the closing price right here, okay? So that's kind of like what I used each time I run it. So remember, and this is before I asked for the trend lines. Before I asked for the trend line data stuff, the first thing it did, it dropped down that JSON data right there on top. In the check, I just go to the farthest right, because that's the newest value. You can check that by checking your timestamp right there. And then that's the opening price right here, and closing price. So you can use that to base your, how you want to, or you just check the Oanda platform to essentially do your thing. And as you can see, it inserted multiple times as well. And this is nonstop for 30 loops. That number 30 right here is how many times this is going to loop before it takes a break. Because remember I told you if you run it nonstop, it will hit an error saying max entry is retrieved that day. Because there's a cap. And we'll work on the Oanda version later if that one works better and doesn't give us the max entry error. Okay, so yeah, the last part I'm going to show you real quick is just to give you an idea of our visualization software we're going to use is Tableau right here. So I created a dashboard essentially that shows the data pretty much of what we're running. So the red line here is the trend line. Red line here is the trend line. This is the bottom trend line as well. So the red line is bottom trend line, and the green is top trend line. Okay, that's why if you see like the zoomed in version, it's kind of like this is like kind of below it, and this is kind of like it's supposed to be under it, but it fucking like I was just testing it out pretty much essentially. So, and then blue is the closing price, orange is the opening price, and then closing price, and then opening price is this one. Yeah. And then essentially, if I go to, I'll show you how they work this later. Data source. If it loads, it's executing query. I'm gonna let it run a little bit. Cool. If I go here to the stop area here, and I do this, cool, and I go back to dashboard on the bottom right here, you will see that the data hasn't really changed all that much. Yeah, it's be different from before. Pretty sure it's different from before. This curve wasn't there before, I remember. Closing price is acting pretty dramatic. It's just kind of smooth. This is just the idea pretty much, okay? This is the visualization software we're going to use to visualize what Python is doing or Python is checking. Okay, this is the trend line that we created, and this is the alert system. So essentially, when it crosses this line, it should alert you. Here it should alert, no alerts here, no alerts here. So it should alert on the bottom trend line being hit twice. for closing price or opening price, and then yeah. So that's pretty much essentially how this bot works. Any questions? Shoot me a message, and we should be good.